Our next guest says a growing trend among couples who are divorcing may backfire on you. A recent survey shows a dramatic link between the U.S. economy and divorce rates.
But more and more couples are choosing to live together until the divorce is final, hoping to save money. Welcome attorney Nicole Sodoma. She's the founder of Sodoma Law here in Charlotte. Nicole, good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay, so this is a growing trend among couples. They decide that they're going to split up. They stay together. Again, the hope is that they're going to save money, but you say the numbers don't always add up.
They do not always add up. There are lots of things that you can accomplish while you are living together, but the idea of separating finances and property, assets, and debts is not likely going to happen.
Okay, so if a couple wants to divorce in a very economically friendly way, what would you suggest over living together?
You can work through parenting schedules, custody. You can work through support. You would not be able to divide property, assets, and debts while you're still living together. North Carolina requires that you be separate, living in two different homes for 1 year and 1 day. And that doesn't mean that you live in separate bedrooms. That doesn't mean that you live in the garage while someone lives in the house, unfortunately. So you would not be able to divide assets and debts until actually you've already separated.
Because you have to have different residences. You have to establish that for the year.
Well, right, and you would not be able to ask the court for the entry of a divorce judgment until you've actually been separated for a year and a day. So.
As we said, for a lot of people, this is a financial matter. That's why they decide to do this. It seems in my mind like it makes sense. You say it can backfire. Again, what are some of the other reasons that it's not a good idea?
Some other things that people should consider is the fact that you want to separate might mean that you've got some additional conflict in the house. You don't want your children to see that conflict. You would not want to be liable for each other's debts, financial circumstances. Also, when you have that kind of conflict, if in fact there's high conflict, you might run into the risk of domestic violence. And as we know, domestic violence today is not what it was 30 years ago, as we understand it.
Now, what about this postnuptial agreement? We hear about the prenup, but you say there's a postnup that can help.
Well, think about it. The same way that we think about prenuptial agreements before you get married, there are such things that are called postnuptial agreements. They're contracts between spouses before they separate. And for example, if you've just learned that your spouse has incurred a large amount of credit card debt and you do not want to be responsible for it, maybe a postnuptial agreement, if both parties are willing to execute it, would be something that would protect you. We draft them. They become more frequent. We hear about them more frequently, more so now than really ever before.
Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up? If somebody finds himself in this unfortunate situation, any quick advice that you want to leave viewers with?
I would remind viewers that from a custody perspective, making sure that you are keeping the adult matters outside of the ears of the children. We are, at our firm, we've got 4 parenting coordinators. Parenting coordinators are people that can help parents, that can act as neutrals to reduce conflict in otherwise high conflict situations. So you consider resources and tools if you're considering separating or separated, and just to make sure you're making smart decisions.
SodomaLaw.com. SodomaLaw.com is Nicole's website. Nicole, thank you for your time today.
Thank